Algebra 1 students, in this video today we will be learning how to change decimal numbers to scientific notation and then vice versa. In other words, we're also going to change numbers that are written in scientific notation. We're going to change those numbers to decimal form. Alright, here we go. Please copy down your heading for the day. Your heading today is, hold on one second guys. There we go. Your heading for today is decimal form and scientific notation, lesson 8.4, and be sure and include today's date. And to be honest with you, please put part 1 right here. Alright, part 1. So, decimal form and scientific notation, lesson 8.4, part 1, and be sure and include today's date. If I go too fast, pause the video. Alright, let's start off by looking at what is meant when I use the words decimal form, okay? This is decimal form. You don't have to write these down, just listen. This is decimal form. This is decimal form. This is decimal form. You get the point? Decimal form, guys. Decimal form is really any number at all. Any regular number that we're used to, like this. This decimal form. I mean, if there's no decimal here, where's it at? Right here. If there's no decimal here, where's it at? Right here. So all of these numbers are really in decimal form, okay? So don't get confused. Don't make this harder than it is. Decimal form is just any number written in regular form. We call that decimal form. Piece of cake, no problem, okay? Now, what is meant by scientific notation? Now, this gets really interesting, so please take some really good notes. I want you to write down 2.5, then put times, then put 10, and then put an 8 right here. Alright, write that in your notes, please, would you? And now let's take some notes. Let's take some really good notes here. Are you ready? First of all, this number right here must always have, write this down please, 1 digit. I'm going to change that to non-zero. 1 non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. To the left of the decimal. Got it? Please write that down. So when I ask you to write a number in scientific notation, this number here must always have 1 digit to the left of the decimal. For example, here's your decimal, right? Go to the left. How many digits do I have? 1. 1. You must have a non-zero number. I should have put 1 non-zero digit. Sorry about that. I apologize. There we go. 1 non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. Alright? You must have that, or you don't have scientific notation. Next, you must have a multiplication sign here. That will never change. Next, you must have the number 10 here. That will never change. It's going to always be a 10. Always. Got it? This number here can be any integer. That means like a whole number. Positive or negative. I would write that in your notes, please. I would write all of this in your notes. This will always be a 10. And this exponent right here can be any integer, or you could also say a whole number if you want. It's good enough for me. Whole number, positive or negative. Got it? Now I'm going to erase this if I'm going too fast. Just pause the video. So let me ask you a question. Don't write this down, just watch. Would this be a number written in scientific notation? Well, this looks good. I have 1 digit, a non-zero digit, to the left of the decimal. Alright? I've got a times sign here, but hold it. This number right here has to be a 10. And it's not, it's an 11. So no, this This is not in scientific notation. No, it is not. Again, you can write these down if you want to, but I encourage you just to watch, okay? Would this be scientific notation? 0.9 times 10 to the fifth. Well, no, it would not, because here's your decimal. What did I say? You have to have one non-zero digit right here to the left of the decimal. Do you see a number right here that's not zero? I mean, you could put a zero there. That's fine. 0.9 is the same thing as 0.9. But the problem with that is I told you it has to be a non-zero digit. So 0 doesn't count. Okay? So, is there a digit to the left of the decimal point here? Is there a number right here? No, there's not. Is there? No. So this is not scientific notation. Would this be scientific notation? I'm using the number 2. Let's change something else. Let's say 8.13. 8.13 times 10 to the negative third. Would that be scientific notation? Sure it would be. First of all, look at your first number here. Do I have a non-zero digit to the left of the decimal? Yes, 8. Okay. Do I have a multiplication sign here? Yes. Do I have a 10 here? Yes. Do I have a positive or negative whole number here? Yes. Scientific notation. Got it? Okay. So, moving on. You need to understand what we're talking about when we say stuff like decimal form and scientific notation. Alright, let's continue on. Now, we're going to start off by changing decimal form numbers to scientific notation, and then we'll go backwards and we will change numbers that are written in scientific notation. We will change those to decimal form. Alright, so here we go. Please take some really good notes and pay attention, okay? Write down the number 34,690. Now that's obviously in decimal form. We're going to write that in scientific notation. Are you ready? Take really good notes, please. First of all, we know we're going to put times 10, right? We already know that. Now, we're going to put a number over here that has one digit to the left, a non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. So what we do is we realize, we say to ourselves, okay, and this number right here, where's the decimal at? Well, it's right here, right? We want it to be here, correct? I mean, if we put it here, that's not going to work. That's 2 digits to the left of the decimal. If we put it here, that's not going to work. We have no digit to the left of the decimal. So we want to move the decimal to right here. So how many places would that be? Let's count. We're going to start here. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. Does everybody see that? So we're going to move the decimal 4 places. Starts here, ends here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I move the decimal 4 places. So you put a 4 right here for your exponent. Piece of cake. Then over here you put 3.469. Do not put the 0. I will take points off if you put the 0. The reason we write numbers in scientific notation is to make them more compact and a little smaller. And so we drop the zeros at the end. Alright, and you guys should know that if I had 3.5, that's the same thing as just 3.5. We know that. Okay, so there's my answer. Piece of cake. Move the decimal 4 places, so you put a 4 here and bring the decimal number down, dropping off the zeros on the end. Okay? Alright, let's try another one. Please write this in your notes. Let's try 5,600,000,000. Alright? 5,600,000,000. There we go. Now we're going to write that in scientific notation. Okay? So here we go. Okay, remember first of all we put times 10. Okay? Now we're going to start the decimals here. We want it to stop where? Right here. opposite here. We have one non-zero digit to the left. Alright, so here we go. We're going to move it. 1, 2, 3. Let me start over. It's pretty sloppy. Move it to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we moved it 9 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, the number we're going to write here is simply going to be 5.6. There we go. We drop all these zeros. We're not going to put 5.600000000. That's unnecessary. You don't need those zeros. So we put 5.6 times 10 to the 9th. Guys, that's really simple, isn't it? That's pretty simple from what I can see. Alright. Now, get rid of that. Let me try to get rid of that. Let's slide this up here. We're going to come back to those in a minute. Let's get rid of this right here. And let's continue on. Now, I would like you to write this number. Please copy this number down. 0.000722. Everybody see that? Copy that down, please. Okay, I'd like you to write that number in scientific notation, okay? So here we go. First of all, we put times, and then 10. Now, you want the decimal, obviously, to stop right here. I mean, you don't want it to stop here. That would be 2 non-zero digits to the left. If you stopped here, that would be 3 non-zero digits to the left. You want the decimal to stop right here, so that we have 1 non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. That's where you want to stop. So you're going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count it again. Start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, so you probably think you're going to come down here and put a 4. Alright? And that's partially true. But it's actually going to be a negative 4. Let me explain why, so there's no confusion. Alright? Notice up here, the decimal started here and went to the left. When that happens, you have a positive exponent. Okay? Notice the decimal started here and went to the left. That's going to give you a positive exponent in scientific notation. However, when we start here and we go to the right in scientific notation, that will always be a negative exponent. So don't get confused. This negative sign here and this positive sign here and this positive sign here is nothing more than, are you listening, direction. That's it. It's just telling you where you came from. If it's a positive exponent, then you know the decimal came from the right, move to the left. If it's a positive exponent, you know it came from the right, move to the left. If it's a negative exponent, you know it came from the left and it was moved to the right. That's all that means, okay? Now, you're not going to put 0.0007.22. That's just a waste of zeros. We just simply put 7.22. And that's it. That's it. We did it. It's not difficult at all, guys. It's really simple, okay? You're just moving the decimal, counting the spaces, and writing the number in scientific notation. Alright, let's try another one. And then we'll go the other direction. Let's try a simpler one, just simply 0.039. Now, if I asked you to write that in scientific notation, the first thing you would do is you would put times 10. And then you would realize you would not want the decimal here, nor would you want it here. You want the decimal here so that you have 1 digit to the left of the decimal. 1 digit, okay? So I'm going to move the decimal from here to here. So 1, 2. So I move the decimal 2 places, so I'm going to put a 2 right here. But hold it. It came from the left, moved to the right, so it's going to be A. scientific notation. Alright? So everybody with me? Now, please take some really good notes and pay attention here, okay? Now, let's pretend that we did not know what this number was right here. Can y'all do that for a second? And I would not cross it off on your nose like I'm doing. Please don't do that. Just come underneath this here. And let's write this number in scientific notation, okay? Now, let's think this through. I know the let's write this in decimal form. It's already written in scientific notation. Now we're going to go backwards and we're going to write these answers, these numbers in decimal form. Now, I know the decimal has moved how many places? 4, correct? So I know I'm going to take 3.469 and I'll move the decimal 4 places. Now you know you're not going to go this way, because if the number would have looked like this, then you would have had a negative exponent if it would have come from the left. We know that's not the case. So we know it came from over here to the right because I have a positive exponent. So I'm going to move this 4 places. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to put a 0 here. So the decimal's no longer here. The decimal's here. So now I have 34,690. Now let's see if that's right, shall we? Let's get rid of this blob right here and look at that. 34,690. So I simply move the decimal 4 places. Very, very simple. Not difficult. Let's try another one. Okay, students, you can work ahead or you can watch me. It's up to you. Let's try another one, okay? So let's cross this off, pretend we don't know what the answer is. Alright, let's pretend on a test or a quiz I gave you a problem like this and I said write this in decimal form, okay? You know you're going to move the decimal 9 places, okay? It's a positive 9. Now, you wouldn't go to the left. That wouldn't make any sense because you know when you have a number like this with a bunch of zeros and you move the decimal, that gives you a negative exponent. So you know the decimal has to go to the right, and it's going to go to the right 9 places. Let's count very carefully. 1. Then every time there's an empty space, I got to put a 0 in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got to fill in 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this decimal is now gone. It's over here. So I have 5, 6, and 8 zeros. Put a comma here, put a comma here, put a comma here, and guess what? That's the exact same number we had right here. 5,600,000,000. Exact same number. Okay? Are we getting this? Let's try another one here. I want you to take this right here, and I want you to write this scientific notation number. I want you to write it in decimal form. Okay? Decimal form. So here we go. I know I have 7.22, okay? And I know I'm going to move that decimal how many places? 4 places. Now it's a negative 4. I would not go this way because that means my original number, in my original number, I had to move the decimal from here to here. That'd be a positive 4. So if it's a negative exponent, I know the decimal's got to be over here somewhere. So I'm going to move it 4 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to put in 3 zeros. And now my decimal's right here. So it's not here. So my answer would be 0.0000722. That's it. That's my answer. I have written this number from scientific notation to decimal notation. Let's see if it matches, okay? Look at that. Identical. This number right here almost falls right on top of that perfectly. Alright? It's the exact same number. 0.0000722. One more. Then I'll throw a couple more problems at you and we'll be finished. Alright? Let's take a look at this last one here. Okay, students, let's pretend we don't know what the answer is. There we go. Pretend I gave this to you on a test. I said write that in decimal form. Well, decimal two places. The question is what direction? Well, it's a -2. So you know the decimal had to come over from over here somewhere. So we're going to go this way 2 places. 1, 2. So my decimal's here now. I put a 0. So my answer is 0.039. So this number here is the exact same number as this number here, just written in different forms. And by the way, look at that, almost identical. They could almost fall right on top of each other. 0.039, 0.039. Okay? Alright, let's go ahead and finish this up by practicing some more of these just very, very quickly, and we'll be finished, okay? You can pause the video and work these on your own, or you can watch me. I want you to take this number here, and I want you to write it in decimal form. Alright, so here we go. I have 1.4. I know I'm going to move the decimal 4 places. It's a +4, so I know the decimal came from over here somewhere. So I'm going to move the decimal this direction 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to put 3 zeros in there. So my answer is 14,000. 14,000. If I go too fast, just watch it again, okay? Alright, let's take this number here, and let's write this number in scientific notation. Alright, I want you to write that number in scientific notation. Well, obviously, we're going to have to move the decimal to right here, because if I put it here, I have 1 digit to the left. That is a non-zero digit. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to go from here to here. So I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I moved it 6 places. But remember, it's going to be a -6 because that came from the left. So my answer is simply 2.05 times 10 to the -6th power. Alright, let's try another one. Let's take this number here and let's write it in scientific notation. 6,910,000. 6,910,000. Alright, let's write that in scientific notation. We know we're going to put times 10. We don't see the decimal, so we know it's right here. And now we're going to move it to right here. Because if you move it here, you have 1 digit to the left. That is a non-zero digit. Alright, so here we go. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. So I moved it 6 places. So it would be a +6 because I came from the left, I came from the right, moving it to the left. So my answer would be 6.91 times 10 to the 6th power. Okay. Last but not least, let's take this scientific notation number and let's write it in, I forget which one I did before, hold on 1 second, and let's write it in decimal form. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we did that one there. Alright. So here we go. 7.6 times 10 to the -3rd power. Alright. Let's write this in decimal form. So first of all, I know I'm going to move the decimal 3 places. The question is which direction? Well, it's a negative, so I know the exponent came from over here somewhere. So I've got to put it back over here. So move it 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So I know I'm going to add 2 zeros. My decimal is now here. It's not here. So my answer is 0.0076. So this number here is the exact same number as this number here. They're just written in different forms. This number up here is written in scientific notation, and this number here is written in decimal form. I hope this video has made sense. I've tried to make it as simple as possible. We're just simply learning today how to write numbers in scientific notation and how to write numbers in decimal form. If you have any questions, don't hesitate.